Howdy fellow model railroaders, my name is Kevin Brown. I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. In this episode I want to go over the progress I've managed to make on my layout, the Brownsville Terminal Railroad. My work is still having us work every other week, so I had the last week off, which has been very good for getting stuff done downstairs. So I want to go over that progress. Before I get there, I want to make a short shout out. Almost everybody I'm sure that is subscribed to me also is very much aware of Sparky and his channel Sparky 107. He has made a video and was asking for everybody's participation. The video is called How to Grow Your Channel in the Model Railroad Community. I suggest you check it out. What his request is that everybody that is in this YouTube Model Railroad community to go ahead and just comment on the video. He has the instructions and what exactly he wants to do, but the net effect is it's going to be essentially a directory of almost everybody in this large and very active community. So I think it'd be very useful for that alone. So I recommend you check out Sparky's channel. I'll put some information here to help you find it. So yeah, after that, I want to show some video now of the progress I've made, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, time to work on the staging yard. First thing I did is install some lighting in here because it was quite dim. You can see the holes for where the tracks are going to enter and exit. So now I have to do some modification to this shelf unit and then start working on the bench work for the staging yard. I've decided not to use modular approach for the staging yard. I'd rather have more tracks and the 13-inch or so maximum depth for T-track is just not enough. So I'm going to put in 2-foot wide shelf across here, and I've got to build it out a little bit because there's a support here that sticks out less than 6 inches, but that'll be sufficient. So yeah, that's kind of my project for the week. So we'll see how it works. Okay, I've reinforced the shelves above and below because I had to cut this section out. So I have access, and this is where the staging yard is going to stretch across. I'm going to lose a little of this bottom shelf for the yard, but it's a small sacrifice. While I was at it, I had never gotten around to putting the connecting tracks in to the Brownsville terminal module. Excuse me. So I got all that in place. That was kind of interesting. So next is to design, because I've got this pole sticking out about 6 inches, I'm going to have to design something that comes out from the wall for that 6 inches, and then put the 2-foot by roughly 11-foot section together that's going to be the staging yard. So now it's a little time for a little drawing and a little head scratching. Alrighty, well that was a joy, but I managed to build the extensions so that I can get past that pole. There's the other one over there. I had a heck of a time with this because the lumber here is, I didn't do this framing, but the lumber here is just kind of a mishmash of all different sizes. So eventually I got the bright idea of trying to use the inner wall here as ground zero, so I had something consistent to measure against. And it took a little while, but I got everything in there. One quick little look. The reason why this is kind of a storage room, you can see there's still a old brick floor down here. That actually was in the other side too, but my father-in-law and Dave Gentry, a friend of mine from the train club many years ago, poured a concrete floor on the other side, but not on this side. So I hadn't thought about that, but that does kind of mean that because the floor is a little lower, then the staging yard is going to be a little higher. So far, if this is any indication, I don't know if this is going to work. It's still not too bad, but it's going to get a little thicker the further back I go, a little deeper. So we'll see. It should be okay. Now I'm going to finish framing up the part that goes across here to there. I did a quick measurement from end to end. It's pretty much exactly 11 feet. So I said, what the heck, we're going to make it 11 foot by 2 foot. And I got the framing started, and I'll show you how that works out. Okay, here's all the framework done for the staging yard. As you can see, I used pretty much the same construction technique I did for my bench work for my modules. It's basically 1x4s, 2x2 glue block in the corner. There's 2 sections, an 8-footer and a 3-footer, and all of it corresponds to the track, the holes of the wall. I just use simple 2x4 legs. I haven't braced them yet. I might do that. I haven't decided yet, but for the moment, this will do just fine. I'm going to start putting some decking on and some track. See you in a sec. I went ahead and put the first piece of decking in because I was a little afraid of the access I'd have to those tracks. But I found that space I left back there is actually enough for me to get in. It's not comfortable, but I got in and out and put that in, so that's good to know that for cleaning and maintenance I can get in there. So back to putting decking in. Alrighty, here's everything all cleaned up, decking down, track on it. I've got one power drop here. I'm gonna have to do way more than that. I made sure to put the main line down the center. I'd like to have at least 4 staging tracks on each side. We'll see how that all works out. For the moment, I'm just happy without even power drops, it's running. I still got to do better than just track power. But for the moment, I can do this. So that's kind of this project finished, except for lots of cleanup. That's my next job. As you can see, I managed to get the final loop all the way done. Now I can run trains. It felt good to get stuff out, and that reassuring smell of ozone as the dirty old track gets burned off and all the rest of it. So I'm very pleased with the progress that I've made. My next step, which is a big step, what I've accomplished is I've built a double track oval clear around the room and obviously into the next one. And I want to slowly but surely convert that into an operations-oriented model railroad, bit by bit, piece by piece. So what I started doing is writing down on note cards the various projects I'd like to do in no particular order, because I really don't know what to do next, truthfully, although I have made a decision that what I have to deal with first is to improve the wiring on this. And I've had a change of heart on where I want to put my power packs and Digitrax controller, which is nice because I think it uses an empty space over here between the end of the future Blair Yard and the Brownsville terminal, but it also means that the wiring I put in is all wrong. I want to use this opportunity to try and make some sense of this and make it a lot easier to use. I've been kind of thinking about that for a long time. So that's the next project. I should, barring anything unusual, probably have one more week off. I'll have to work next week and probably have the week off after that. So I'm going to start hitting wiring and permanently mounting all my electronic accessories. So that's coming up. I've already ordered some of the parts. Some of them are actually in. So yeah, I should be able to get the DC and DCC aspects done. I do want to be able to run both DC and DCC on the layout. I've got a lot of old locomotives that I don't plan on tearing into and putting a decoder in. So I want to be able to run both. It'll increase the wiring complexity a little bit, but not terribly so. So that's kind of the plan, and that's next. As far as my group, the N Scale of Bloomington Normal, we still have one show that hasn't been canceled yet, but I'm not all that hopeful. It's at the Galesburg Railroad Days in end of June. I'd love to be able to go, but so far plenty of shows that are after that have since canceled. So we'll just have to sit back and see. One thing we we have a monthly meeting, and under the circumstances that really wasn't possible, not in a traditional sense. So we ran a Zoom meeting. I mean, we're getting very, with it and with the times here, and that was kind of fun. Actually, got a chance to talk with. I think we had almost a dozen people in at one time, which is a pretty good turnout for us, and see what everybody's doing on their self-isolation. So that was quite fun. It was good to kind of catch up with everybody. It's not as good as face-to-face, but it beats nothing. So that's kind of where my group is at right now. I would like to leave you with some shots of trains running around my layout. And I hope you enjoy that. And as always, if you've liked what you've seen, please hit like and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy.